kicked out. This isn't a public area that I'm at. Kind of avoiding that park across the street. Right here. See my bullshit, man. But you can't really see it. Right here. Camp sign. Right here. And we can begin now. Alright, so first and foremost, as always, I gotta face the east. And your house go down. And so alright, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone GMS who do words as well. And today we're going to some various topics. It's a little loud out here. Kind of by a highway, so it's gonna get pretty loud. We got a lot of cars and shit passing by, but I like it, you know. I like it. Not so many people running around here, so forgive me on that. But I'll just keep the camera close to me so you can hear what I'm saying. So. So this is BBC.com. Earthquake damages French homes, schools, and churches. By mentor on the internet. Bradford. Around 170 people have been located in the western French town of La Lane after an earthquake on Friday evening. The quake believed to have been between magnitude 5.2 and 5.8 was felt from Rennes to the northwest to Bordeaux in the southwest. Homes, schools, and churches were damaged, while hundreds of buildings declared uninhabitable. Earthquakes above magnitude 5 are unusual in France. The last affected the country in 2019. 2 people were injured in the town of Douai-Sevres following Friday's tremor. Alright, so you have an earthquake coming down in France. Okay? Now, when you think of earthquakes, you should immediately be thinking of Matthew 24th chapter. Let me get that. Okay, if I didn't store it there, I stored it here. Alright. So as I said, before I actually speak on that, I actually want to push this out. Brothers, get yourself one of these bags, man. A sign bag, man. Like a easel bag. Get yourself one of those, man. That'll really help you out with, teaching, because I could just throw my sign in my bag. I still live at home with my parents, so being able to throw my sign in my bag, I could be real low key when I leave to go camp, instead of having like a laundry bag, and that looks all kinds of suspicious. So make sure you get yourself a sign bag, and I bought that for around 24 bucks off of Amazon. Alright, so this is Matthew chapter 24, and I think I'll start at I'll get to the point. Matthew 24 and 6. We shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See, you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So we know that because we have the internet, right? Because knowledge has been increased, and scriptures like that, so on and so forth. Also, they are wiser than Daniel. I think that's Ezekiel, the 28th chapter. They've been, we have the internet. Which the internet was created by Jake, by the way, who basically created interconnectedness between devices. But because we have the internet and we have the news, we can basically, be kept up to breast with the wars. It's the point now where if you go on Reddit and things like that, with this whole Russia-Ukraine conflict, you can basically get a first-person view of it. You got YouTube channels all across YouTube that are going beat for beat on the war. I can't remember this dude's name, but there's plenty of guys like that do that. Different war history channels. These guys, they have insiders. They got actual videos from soldiers on the war. It's a different level to the things that have gone forth with Vietnam. They said Vietnam was a televised war. Ukraine has definitely taken it to a different level. I mean, they even got videos of dead bodies, videos of conflict, but none of that stuff is anything new. They had stuff like that with Iraq, Afghanistan, different videos, soldiers taking videos of them shooting people and stuff. You can find it on the internet. It's not terribly hard to find. Alright, so Matthew 24, and back to meet the verses, right? Verse 7, verse 7. For nation rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There should be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. Alright, so for nation rise against nation, that's what I was talking about before. But that also goes to the civil wars as well. When you read Isaiah 19th chapter, Egyptian against Egyptian, that's also talking about that. That's also talking about civil wars that are going to go down here in America, not just national nation wars. I heard a brother talk about that, because I didn't know that either. Right? And famines and pestilences, right? So we're already seeing famines right now. We're seeing, meat packing plants being hacked. There's many fires in meat packing plants. As I said before, whole hacking thing, I'm going to get to that too. There's been hacks and stuff like that. And pestilences are just diseases, man, such as the Vidco 19, Vidco 19, or Windows 19 as we like to call it, right? So things like that, man, are diseases and stuff are playing out in this place, man. And there's only gonna be more diseases. WHO, I've already talked about that there's gonna be more diseases. It's only a matter of time before we get the next big virus, next big contagion that comes into America, that spreads across the world and becomes the next pandemic. It's only a matter of time before all those things come to pass, and it is going to come to pass because it's prophecy. All right. Let's see it. Let's see if we want to get any more on that. All right, verse 8. All these. Earthquakes in diverse places. That's something I'm going to get to next. Alright, and this is just an example of what we're seeing here. Earthquake in a diverse place. What does diverse mean? Alright, diverse means different, different types, different places. Like they're starting to push this whole diversity, equity, and inclusion thing, which we know that whole thing is really a sham. That doesn't really support, so-called blacks and Hispanics. Which we're the most oppressed group. We should be the ones really getting the brunt of that, but you know, they put everyone under minority. You know, I was watching my man Tariq Nasheed. You know, they categorize white women and gay white men in the minority category as well, in the whole inclusiveness thing as well. So they are the ones that are getting the benefits that we should be getting. You know, we're the ones that started this. You know, it was us with the Civil Rights Act. We're the one that really, you know, kicked that whole thing off, which the whole civil rights movement and the Civil Rights Act, all that stuff was a trick bag anyway. We know that Martin Luther King, you know, he was definitely tapped in. You know, Malcolm X was tapped in. Even though I do believe that maybe he didn't really believe in all that stuff. You know, at least towards the end of his life, I think that he was turning around and stuff. You know, I do remember, I think the elders say that he was, he used to come by Elder Abba Bivens. You know, so I don't really believe that he was, I do believe that he was turning around towards the end though. Because he was getting on that heavy enemies necessary kind of thing. You know, he actually turned Martin Luther King around too. You know, turned Martin Luther King around with his whole, you know, peace nonsense, man. You know, but that was all a moment that needed to go down. All right, so we can go back a little bit into that article. I could get more scriptures on earthquakes, but you know, if I get more scriptures on earthquakes, it's just gonna say the exact same thing. Like if I get the one in Luke, it's basically roughly gonna say the same thing. So we're gonna see if we can extract a little bit more info and see what's going on down here. All right. Well, they sure don't want me out here. They don't want us out here at all. You know. Okay, right. So this exercise is really short. So the local fire service chief, Didier Makayu, I don't know how to say it, Makailu, warned the church had become completely unstable, and the top government regional official said that most of the houses in the town center were affected. The schools will have to be closed as a precaution. One woman cried as she told local news station BFMTV that she could no longer live in her home. I wouldn't wish this on anyone. The woman named Christine. In my son's room, you can fix your tired hand to crack in the wall. Just a big earthquake that came down here. We will obviously, Thomas and Elizabeth Bourne described the earthquake as unusual and expressed our solidarity with those who may have been buried. We will obviously ensure that everyone has access to this housing, Ms. Bourne said. Interior Minister Gerald Dermanin said the government will initiate an accelerated national disaster recognition procedure to help quickly assess structural damage in buildings. Okay, so that's another earthquake. You know about Turkey. I believe there was an earthquake in Haiti. And now we have an earthquake in France. You know, all these earthquakes are just going to keep on happening, you know. It's not going to get better. So, let's go into from the middle of October months. Let's go and then we can see Congress restricts funding and Chinese nationality. And then we'll talk about this one, the hack. This is a real big thing that we gotta get into today, you know. I did hear about this. I saw brothers' videos on this, and then I saw I don't think I saw Alex Jones talk about this. Oh no, Owen Schroyer. You know, if you want to get the news about the war stuff, Owen Schroyer is the guy covering that stuff. Not really. Alex Jones covered that stuff too, but you know, I've been noticing that Owen is covering that stuff. I think he has the war room. All right, several federal agencies hacked as part of global cyber attack that exploited a flaw in popular file sharing software. All right, several government agencies in the United States have been affected by a global cyber attack that exploited a flaw in the widely used file transfer software. Let's see what that one is. talking about it, but it's just rooting me to a Reuters article to show that this news is legit. You know, the Cybersecurity Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, the country's top civilian operating cybersecurity watchdog, overseen by the Department of Homeland Security, right? And there's a reason why they use civilian things, you know. Actually, no, never mind. It's more like the CIA. There's a reason why they don't have the CIA covered under the government. I guess you could say with this too, because then it's not really beholden to the government like that, you know? Like the CIA, because it's a civilian agency, then they can have things like plausible deniability if they fuck up. Then they say, oh, well, that guy, that agent, he got captured. We never really knew him. You know, then they can just say, oh, whoops, we don't know that guy. You know, when you have a government thing, then it becomes a big issue. You know, I guess that's why for this group here, this Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, right? They can have, because it's a civilian group, technically, you know, well, not really technically because it ain't, but I'm pretty sure it's against the law, but they can have private contractors. They can hire private individuals to do work for them, and then if those private individuals fuck up, they can get rid of them, you know, and say, oh, you know, like the United States Army, they have mercenaries. You know, why they have mercenaries? Because if they lose a battle, or if they get caught or something, or they get captured, and so on and so forth, you know, they can say, oh, we never knew those guys. Who are those guys? You know, that's how war works, man. That's how these devils work. How they run wars. You know, they do it secretly. You know, secret council of the wicked. But I want to speak on that too real quick. There's also a thing with those mercenaries. They have their records. They have like a confidential kind of area. They actually don't really keep records on these guys, so you don't know where these guys are from. So if they get killed in combat, there's zero connection to the United States, man. It's all some really wicked, crazy stuff, man. You know, we send these guys off to foreign nations, different mercenaries. Like read that book, Confessions of Economic Hitler. That book is about that. I'm gonna go get it and read it to it myself. But that book is all about how the Western power sends mercenaries into Africa to destabilize them, you know, because they put in puppet leaders in Africa. You know, when those puppet leaders aren't playing ball the way they're supposed to, they kill them, you know. They do it to all their CIA assets, right? CISA confirmed that it was providing support to several federal agencies that have experienced intrusions affecting their file transfer applications. I'm going to look more into this agency and those civilian thing. I just know about the CIA. We are working urgently to understand impacts and ensure timely remediation, said CISA in a statement. The hackers exploited vulnerability in the file sharing program Move It Transfer, a popular tool used by government agencies to transfer files quickly. In an interview, CISA Director Jen Easterly claimed the agency was tracking the hackers as a well-known ransomware group without going into specifics. The cyber criminal organization known as POC made a claim credit for the hack. The group's hacker since at least 2014 is believed to operate within Russia with its tacit approval of Russian intelligence services. They have conducted a cyber attack response to warning by CSA and the Federal Bureau of Investigation by the POC has exploited well-known vulnerabilities in Europe. And you see here, going to the article, you know, Russia's doing the same thing. You know, they're using these hacking groups as proxies. You know, because the hacking group fucks up or fails, then you know what Russia can do? Oh, we never knew those guys. You know, who are those guys? We don't know them. You know they're gonna kill them. You know damn well they're gonna kill them for sure. Right? So, right? They've started releasing some of the data that was stolen as part of their work to extort these companies, said Ann Newberger, Deputy National Security Advisor for Cyber and Emerging Technology for the National Security Council. She in order that the hackers attacked companies across the world, moving large files into the database. We strongly encourage anyone who's a user of the software to, of course, patch the vulnerability and lock down their systems. Some organizations have already admitted to being potentially hacked by CLOP. Johns Hopkins University said in a statement that it was investigating a recent cybersecurity attack that affected our networks. All right, and this should be a warning to, well, actually all the more reasons not to take the chip. I mean, we already know us and GMS affiliates, for instance, myself, that taking a microchip is a no-go because it'll give you cancer according to scriptures. The scriptures talk about tumors that will appear on these people that will take it, and the missiles will come down and destroy your ass. Alright, so that should be enough motivation. But also the fact that you have hackers that can hack that stuff, I mean that should really, seal the deal for you, man. Imagine having that and then someone hacks it, steals your biometric data, and sells it to foreign governments, or sells it or holds your data as ransom, because people can already do that, you can already hold your data as ransom, like if you ever if you have like a computer or something, people can take your data and they can sell it on the black web, the black market, people can store your data, like if you answer an email and you give them your social security card, they can take your stuff and steal it, and then they'll send you an email saying, hey man, you need to give us back, give us your money, or else we'll sell your data out on the internet. That's how doxings happen, The university system of Georgia, which includes about 26 public colleges, said it was similarly evaluating the scope and severity of this potential data exposure. Multinational energy company Shell admitted that it was targeted, but claimed there was no evidence the cyber attack impacted the company's core IT systems. Other notable victims include British media outlet BBC and British Airways. Alright, so this is a big time hack that occurred. Alright, so Energy Department and other federal agencies affected by the attack. So I want to get this real quick. Get into some Psalm 74. Alright, so this is the book of Psalm 74. And I'll start at verse 4. Thy enemies roar in the midst of thy congregations. They set up their signs, their ensigns for signs, which is just basically like their tokens of victory, What's a token of victory? Think of like things like statues, different government buildings. That represents, the white man's victory over the darker peoples, for us. Or in the context of here in America, so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, really the fact that they have military bases in this land that was originally property of Native Americans, as well as of course the South, the other Northern Kingdom tribes. That's just a symbol of the so-called white man's occupation of this country, which that's what it is. It's a military occupation of this country that isn't really theirs. Well, it never was theirs to begin with. It's occupation. It's the exact definition of the occupation. Like you occupy a bathroom, all right? The so-called white man is occupying this land, all right? That's why in the scriptures, you get scriptures like, like this Revelation, the third part of man, how the missiles are going to come and attack the third part of man. You have three classifications of men: sons of God, sons of the wicked, and the sons of men. All right, sons of men are these other nations, so-called Elamite, not so-called Elamite, the Elamite, what's the way you say it in Hebrew? The Arab, the Ishmaelite, the fucking Moabite, Ammonite, these other nations, and the sons of wicked are the Edomites, man. Because they were originally that serpent-like people of the garden, So, yeah. We can go on and talk more here. famous according as he lifted up axes pointed big trees, but now they break down the carved work thereof at once with axes and hammers. Right, and that's why scholars believe this chapter to be talking about the Maccabean time, but no one really knows what this chapter really represents. It's not really explicitly stated. You know, some people believe it's Maccabees, other people believe it's talking about Babylon, other people believe it's about Shishak, but no one really knows, because it says Asaph, so that would cause you to think Shishak, but it's really, other people believe that when it says Asaph, it's talking about like the tribe of Asaph, so it could possibly be events happening later, or it could actually be a prophecy. It could be Asaph talking in the spirit, you know, which he is talking in the spirit, you know, because all the scriptures, they tie into each other, precept upon precept, right? Line upon line, here a little and there a little, right? So, because these things happen later. If he's talking about Babylon, he's talking in the spirit, because this happened again with the Maccabees. Okay, so right, they have cast fire into thy sanctuary, they have defiled by casting down the dwelling place of thy name to the ground. Okay, so they destroyed the temple back then, right? He said, when they set them together, they have burned up all the gods of God in the land. Alright, in the first part, they're still in that same spirit. Let us destroy them together. These nations coming together to take us down. Alright, like the Edomites were cheering on the Babylonians as they took us down, and those very nations that were in our land, you know, they were helping to, you know, take over our territory. They were moving in, and they were shutting up shop, and they were all complicit with our destruction. They didn't give a fuck. You know, for all of us trying to be like them, and try to make marriages with their wives, not with their wives, their daughters, and make their daughters our wives, they fuck us over, you know? And, you know, that's just what happened. Alright? Also, synagogues, I say synagogues came out as a permanent institution in the times of the Babylonians, but we you know, what was I going to say? There was no synagogues back then. I was going to say Babylon, with the Babylonian invasion. You can say that those were just public places of worship, you know? Now, you gotta, you know, assume that in the time of the Greeks, any public areas they destroyed as well. I'm not sure if it says that in Maccabees, but we know that they had to have deregulate, because they deregulated it. They deregulated, you know, our institutionalized worship of the Lord, you know, and said that if you do that, we're gonna kill you. As you get all the that one chapter about the torture that these you know, the Seleucid you know, those Greeks did to us, man. You know, under Antiochus the Fourth Epiphanes, you know, these assholes did against our people, and they're coming in that same spirit to this day to come kill us. Right? So let's go down and go keep reading. You see now our signs. There is no more any prophet, neither is there any among us. Neither is there among us any that knows how long. Alright? You know, he's speaking in the spirit, because that's what happened back then in history. You know, when these events came down, the Lord would put down the prophets, and the prophets wouldn't be around anymore to go teach these people, you know, and to break down the scriptures to them. Right? Because this is a time for slavery. You know, so there would be no prophets, there would be no one with a vision to tell you how long, and that's the judgment, you know? That's the judgment for us going off, for us turning against the Most High. Alright? And when we look in Zechariah, the first chapter, the scripture says that the Lord was only a little displeased, you know? And that was an example of the Lord's displeasement against us, you know? With the other part of the scripture, the Lord was a little displeased, but they furthered the affliction. Alright? The Edomites, especially so-called white men, they furthered the affliction. Alright? By making us a proverb and a byword. You know, to this day, still still murdering us and killing us, you know, gunning us down for no reason, you know. Police brutality. It's to the point now where, you know, you got to be on your P's and Q's. If you know, get stopped by the police, you got to be real careful, man. You know, you shouldn't feel that way by a civilian, you know, group. That's a group that's, you know, it's supposed to be for the public defense. It's supposed to be for civilian defense, right? It's supposed to be public servants, you know, but they think that we're supposed to be their servants, man. You know, and police, you gotta be real careful around them, man. You know, because they'll grab your ass up and hem your ass up. They don't care, man. I had to spit. You know? They don't give a fuck, man. About having your ass up, throwing you to the ground, and so on and so forth, right? So yeah, we see no more any profit, right? And what does this make you think of? Alright? Amos 8 and 11, man. Alright? A famine of the word. Alright? And this cyber attack that we're reading right now, to bring it all together, this cyber attack that you're seeing right now coming from Russia, I think there's another group, Anonymous, then I think they hacked trading agencies or something like that, or they're going to. They put out statements. I think they were the ones putting out statements that they were going to start hacking. You know, these groups, man, these guys are going to be the ones to usher in, you know, a shutdown of the internet, all right, which is a famine of the word, you know, which is going to be the famine of the word. Because right now, you know, you can go on the internet, you know, you can go type in GMS, you know, etc., 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 you know, GMS video on the name of the Lord, or GMS, you know, what is World War III, or you can ask all your questions right now. You know, the time is coming very soon. But you're not gonna be able to do that. You're not able to be able to find a brother like me, or brothers out there teaching. So Amos 8:11. All the days come, saith the Lord God, Yahweh, when I will send a famine of land, not a famine of bread or no thirst of water, but of hearing the words of the Lord. Right, so it's going to be a famine of hearing the words of the Lord. Like right now, right, you can go on the internet, and as I said, you can go on YouTube, type in GMS, Great Millstone, group down the 12 tribes. Alright, and you can get a bunch of videos on the 12 tribes. Or hell, you can just look up the 12 tribes breakdown. You'll find GMS affiliates giving you the 100% breakdown, you know, of the 12 tribes, man. You know, don't always type in GMS. You know, you can also find affiliates too, because if you find that like a GMS video got taken down, just take the GMS off and search it again. And chances are, if it's like kind of like a different kind of topic, you'll find a GMS affiliate brother has covered it. You know, you'll be surprised when you do that. You know, you'll find, you know, an affiliated brother that's out there, and he'll have a video on it. You know, you got mentors myself at post things, and I try to talk about different things, you know, so that it comes up. You know, if I don't find something, then I'm like, okay, maybe I should do a video on this. Like, I don't think I really saw any breakdowns in Psalm 74. Then again, I didn't really look. Because Psalm 74 is really straightforward, you know. It's one of those chapters that you say, you know, yes, this happened back then, right? It is a historical chapter. It's a psalm of desperation, but it's also history, and it's also prophecy at the same time, because those things are coming to pass in our time right now. Okay. So yeah, we're working urgently to list the impacts of this remediation. Let's, we're going to skip down a little bit. Right, here we go. Rick Carroll, a cyber threat analyst for New England-based community security firm MCSoft, warned that a number of as yet unidentified U.S. government agencies were hacked. It is still not known just how many federal agencies were compromised. The Department of Energy has admitted that 2 of its contracts were attacked by the hackers. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like, the contractors, man, they can keep these guys quiet, and if these guys fuck up, they can go hide it, A spokesperson for the Energy Department claimed that affected entities were Oak Ridge Associated Universities, a research organization made up of a consortium of universities and waste isolation pilot plant, a New Mexico-based facility for the disposal of defense-related nuclear waste. Okay, so this is the place that they were hacking. The spokesperson added that as of press time, there's no indication that any of the Energy Department's branches working for the military or intelligence community were affected. This is not a campaign like SolarWinds that presents a systemic risk to our national security or our nation's network, said the spokesperson, referring to a disruptive cyber attack in 2020 that was traced to Russian military-backed hackers. No federal agencies have received any extortionate demands for clout, and no federal data has been leaked to the public. Easily noted, the government right now is focused specifically on the federal agencies that may be impacted and is working hand in hand with CISA to mitigate the risk. It's the third time in as many years that foreign hackers have been able to break into multiple federal agencies and get their hands on government data, although it still isn't immediately put to the public. But the hackers in the cyber attack were able to obtain classified otherwise sensitive files, so we could possibly be looking at that. But whether or not they did, it doesn't really matter, because we have all kinds of whistleblowers, exposing them, right? I think it's Isaiah the 37th chapter. It talks about Babylon, which is America, make bare the leg, uncover the leg, basically uncovering the nakedness of this place, which is their secrets, like a woman's body parts, like her legs and stuff like that. Those are her secrets, They're only supposed to show that to their husband. So it's really, it's an allegory, It's in the spirit, It's a spiritual breakdown, Because but it's kind of hard to understand that nowadays for the majority of these people, because all kinds of women, they just show their breast and their thighs out all over the place, man. And it's just, even if you have a woman, you gotta just deal with it, that's just what it is. It's unfortunate, it's disgusting, but that's just a part of the battle. Better than being single. So I'd rather deal with that and still get me some than than being single. So if you got a situation like that, at least you get some, man. At least you don't gotta pay for it. That shit's fucking expensive. That shit's like $250 an hour, man. That shit's cost money. So right, the 2020 attack is meant to be a Russian origin. It's resulted in at least 9 federal agencies being broken into. In 2021, Chinese intelligence-linked hackers broke into several federal agencies by exploiting a vulnerability in a remote network program. So yeah, currently we have a cyber war going on, and it's not gonna end anytime soon. The cyber war is beginning, and more cyber attacks are gonna come down on this place. It's only gonna get worse. This is gonna be what's gonna stop us camping, man. This could very well be it. The thing that stops us from being able to upload our camps. And if you can't upload your camp, then there's no reason to really be out there. The other thing that's going to stop us from camping, this is going to stop us from making videos and uploading camps. So that's pretty much going to be the famine in the word. If there's a big hacking event, and say a hacking event goes on for 3 months, we're not going to be able to go out here and teach. That will be the famine of the word, man. We won't be able to teach you guys tell you guys, hey man, this is the end times, man. Get yourself right, get yourself together, get yourself in order. If you've been teaching for a little bit, go out there and start camping, so on and so forth. What am I thinking of now? I'm thinking of so there's vision or spake vision, This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 29, verse 18. And there is no vision, the people perish, but he that keepeth the law, happy is he. Alright, so there is no vision, the people perish. Alright, and the ones that are the visionaries of our current time are the prophets, man, the prophets of the Lord. That's Israelites, man. There's ones out there on the highways and byways. That's that keep the testimony of Yahushua, man. And the testimony and the witness of Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy. Alright? That testimony and that witness is coming out here on the highways and byways and preaching Yahushua, man. Come out here and make our sit-downs and speak on Yahushua constantly. Alright? Because it's extremely, extremely important. 1 Peter 2:25 calls Christ the bishop of our souls. Alright? 1 Peter 2:25 calls Christ the bishop of our souls, He's the one that looks after our souls. You look at the New Testament, Christ is called the mediator. He mediates before the Most High God and mediates for our souls when we make mistakes, when we screw up, when we fuck up. It's Yahushua when we pray. It's Yahushua that goes and takes our prayer, and mediates for us and speaks for us, before the Most High. And we pray for mercy. That's why Yahushua is so important. That's why we worship Yahushua, we worship Christ. I gotta, respect around here because, it's, I'm actually later than I wanted to be. But, it's alright. Book of Luke, chapter 1 and 7. Luke 1 and 7. Right, as he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began. Alright, because the prophets have been since the world began. All the way from the beginning of the prophets, the cool of the day. Look at that word cool of the day, it says that God is in the cool of the day. And it's really talking about a prophet. When you look at that word cool of the day, it just means prophetic spirit. It was around back then, And that's the one that was speaking of the judgment. Basically telling them, Adam, what have you done? It wasn't like, God was sitting here walking around himself. No, he had a prophet out there speaking through him. All right, this is your judgment for what you've done. And if you draw a parallel, if you're in the spirit, if you have the Holy Spirit, you can see this, man. You can actually draw parallels to that judgment. And other times when the prophets have come down and brought judgment. I can't remember which one. I think it was the northern kingdom king in the time of Jehoshaphat. Jehoshaphat, I don't know how to say it, but you know what I'm trying to say, right? When they were having that war, I can't remember who they were fighting against. I think it could have been Moab or something, but the king of Northern Kingdom during that time, he was talking. He was like, man, these prophets, they have nothing good to say. The prophets had nothing good to say because he was always surrounding himself with false prophets that were always telling him what he wanted to hear. He didn't want to hear the real prophets because the real prophets were going to give him the bad news. All right, and that's what we do. That's what it says. The prophets of old, prophets of great nations, wars, pestilences, so on and so forth. That's our job. Our job is to prophet the truth. It's to prophesy the truth. Okay, and the truth and the fact of the matter is, because it's not just give me the bad news to give you the bad news. The bad news is the news. The bad news is the news, you know? You know, people don't want to hear the facts, man. Right, verse 71, that we should be saved from the enemies and from the hand of all that hate us. Alright, and that's what we've been prophesying. That's what the prophets have been speaking on, you know? Right, I'll do that again. That we should be saved from our enemies and from the hand of all that hate us. Alright, saved from our enemies. Who are our enemies? You can read Psalm the 83rd chapter. Psalm the 83rd chapter will tell you who our enemies are, man. The enemies, how's it going, man? Our enemies are all the other nations, you know? Our enemies are, you know, so-called Chinese man, the so-called white man. Alright? And I'm talking about actual Chinese, actual Moabites, alright, actual Ammonites. Alright? These people, because you do have Jakes, because I'm going to speak on this too, you do have Jakes that are among all these different nations, right? You have Jakes all over the place, man. I mean, just the fact that you have Moorish castles in places like Ethiopia should, you know, illuminate that for you, should make that very painfully clear and obvious, okay? Right? And these people are the ones that hate us, right? Like we just read in Psalm 74th chapter, right? They want to destroy us together. Let's destroy them together, you know? And that's the same spirit these other nations have against us. They want to destroy us together. You know, they get together and they have these different groups, different talks to basically wipe us out on one accord, you know? Verse 72, to perform the mercy promised to our fathers and to remember his holy covenant, the oath which he swore to our father Abraham. Alright? So that same covenant, that same promise that we would be given the whole world, you know, that we would be able to stand to see, remember the same promises that were given unto Abraham, that oath, you know, and those are things in the old covenant, you know, that is going to be, you know, completed with the new covenant. And we have those new bodies, and we're changed, and we're perfect, and the way that we were supposed to be. We were never meant, us, you know, we were never meant to get like this, man. You know, we were meant to be perfect. We were put on this earth to be perfect, you know. But it started with Adam, you know, the Adamites. You know, well, really starting with Eve first, and Adam, and then the Adamites, and that original sin that brought death in our generations, man. It talks about that in the Apocrypha, you know. But we weren't supposed to be like this, man. You know, we were meant to be perfect, you know. You can get that in Jude, the first chapter. How we left our first, which is Jude. Book of Jude, chapter 1, verse 6. Right, and the angels which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation, have preserved the everlasting change in the darkness into the judgment of that great day. Right, so the angels, which angels just means angels as angelos, which can also mean messengers, because the angels can be people. You know, an angel doesn't always have to mean like a literal divine angel. Angel can also angel just means messenger, right? Angels represent messengers of God, but can also represent, you know, people. Alright, so when it talks about angels here in Jude, the first chapter, and all these scriptures that talk about it, and like mine, alright, it's just talking about the Adamites back then. Alright, sons of God back then, man. You know, they kept not their first estate. And I mean, if you have the spirit to understand, you can see what it's talking about, right? Because remember, you read in Genesis, the first chapter, the angels are like, well, they're not like, but they're saying, you know, they're saying, let's make them like us, in a way, you know, how you say it. Let's make them like unto us, in a way, you know. You know what I'm trying to say? Let's give them order. You know, when you read just the first chapter towards the end, because man came out of the water, which I believe that was on the fifth day. You know, when man came out of the water, man was already on earth, man. But the angels, they saw man, he didn't really have order. You know, he may have, they may have, you know, done the stuff that normal people do. They eat, they had houses and stuff like that. They were living, you know, but they didn't have order. They didn't have anything to really, govern them by, And that's what we get our institutionalized worship from, from that spirit, the breath of life, and that just trickled down, and then over time, the time of Moses, us settling into Israel, right? We created an institution. We created our own form. Well, the Lord gave it to us. The Lord gave us institutionalized form of worship. All right, our worship, our form of worship as an institution. All right, which we're going to have that back again. We're going to have everything back. We're going to have our ability to sacrifice like we used to, but not to sacrifice for sins. But that means for things like actually no, never mind, no sacrifice. But I mean, there was sacrifices, I guess you can say, for things like I guess you can say for like first fruits, probably. That will probably come back. Passover sacrifice will come back. I assume the Day of Atonement sacrifice will come back. So yeah, we're gonna have certain forms of sacrifices back. But we're just not gonna have sin offerings anymore, because really, if you want to think about it, sin offerings were never supposed to exist. Remember, we weren't originally created, to do that. We weren't supposed to be like that. When we were first put on earth, we were created to be immortal. The word Eden means paradise, man. I think you say Hainan in the Paleo Hebrew. Alright? The earth was given unto us as a paradise. Alright? The earth was given unto us as a paradise, We were supposed to be perfect. Everything was supposed to be perfect. It was supposed to be a paradise for us to, live and be happy. But because of our own, pride and foolishness, we brought ourselves up to this point that we're here now. Okay? So let's see if we can get something. But the spirit is changing, I might get a few scriptures about this, about how we went off. And then thinking of something, and then get into Zechariah, the first chapter. Zechariah chapter 1, verse 1. In the 8th month, in the 2nd year of Darius the Persian, right? Darius the Great, so-called great, came the word of the Lord to Zechariah, son of Berechiah, the son of Iddo, the prophet, saying, the Lord hath been sore displeased with your fathers, therefore say thou unto them, thus saith the Lord of hosts, turn you unto me, saith the Lord of hosts, and I will turn unto you, saith the Lord of hosts, the Lord of armies. Be not as your fathers, unto whom the former prophets have cried, saying, thus saith the Lord of hosts, turn ye now from the evil ways, from the evil doings. They did not hear, nor hearken unto me, saith the Lord. Alright, so as I said before, man, it was our own things, man. Alright, and the prophets have been sent back then to tell the people, turn from your evil ways. And then the people didn't listen. So all the way from the beginning unto now, this evil and this wickedness have just festered. Alright? Actually, after I get this, I want to get 2nd Ezra, the 4th chapter, and then I think I've made a good point. Right? So verse 5, your fathers, where are they? And the prophets, do they live forever? No, the prophets don't live forever, but the spirit of the prophets are subject unto the prophets, Alright? The spirit of the prophets is subject unto the prophets. So if you're a prophet back then, you'd be a prophet now. Now, the scriptures that go into this, how you don't remember the former things of your past life. You do have things like deja vu, right? Like certain attributes of certain brothers, certain things that you gravitate towards. It could be things that you were interested in your past life, things like that, affinity for certain it's all deja vu, you know? Like people get that kind of feeling. But you're not supposed to learn about that. You're not supposed to get too far into that stuff, you know? As Scripture says, you know, things that, secret things that God has given us, they belong to us. But the secret things that belong to the Most High belong to the Most High, you know? So in the kingdom, there's certain things revealed unto us. We learn certain things the Most High puts in our spirits to learn who we are in our past lives. You know, that'll be, you know, for us to know. You know, but the Most High doesn't, he doesn't. You know, it is what it is, you know? So the Most High's program. So, verse 6, my words and my statutes and commanded the servants and prophets, do not take hold of your fathers, and they return and said, like it's the Lord of hosts did, like doing tests, according to our ways and according to our doings, so hath he dealt with us. Alright? So, right, they turn back. Because there's been times where Israel have actually turned back. You know, like in Ezra, they turned back. You know, which I think what happened in Ezra actually came after Zechariah, but we know in Egypt there's times they turned back, they screwed up. They said, "Oh, okay, that's enough now. We need to get it back together." There's been times Israel have gotten it together, like in the time of Josiah. It's a time of reform, a time of our institutions coming back in. You know. So let's get 2nd Esdras, the 4th chapter, and then I think we're done. Holy shit, my voice is hoarse. So yeah, so this is 2nd Esdras, chapter 4. Verse 26, 2nd Esdras 4:26. Then answered he me and said, the more thou searchest, the more thou shalt marvel, for the world hastens fast to pass away. Alright, the world hastens fast to pass away. And that word for world really should be age, man. His age is passing away very quickly. His rulership that we're dealing with now is hasting to pass away very quickly. Remember, 1,000 years are as one day before the Lord. So, you know, this whole thing that we've been dealing with, you know, from Esau's rulership, you know, really coming around in the 1300s all the way to now, it hasn't been 1,000 years. It hasn't even been a day to the Lord, you know? Because time, it moves differently up there, man. You know? Time is faster, you know? So even though things may seem slow to us, it may seem like things are playing out in slow motion here, you know, they're going fast for the Lord, man, up in the heavens, you know? I guess that happened too when you think about it. When the Elohim, when the angels created the earth, they must have somehow dilated time. You know, they had to have had the ability. The Most High gave them the ability to dilate time, because after that time period, you know, time began to move, you know, on its own. You know, even though nowadays we don't really know what time it is, because we have all these months and change. We don't really know what year this is, you know. Okay. Right? Verse 27, it cannot comprehend the things that are promised to the righteous in time to come, for this world is full of unrighteousness and infirmities, right? Like Scripture says, I have not heard, ears not heard those things that the Lord hath prepared for you know, them that serve him, basically, you know, for the hopeful elect, you know. No one has seen the kingdom. We believe the kingdom, right? We believe that the kingdom is coming back this faith and the substance of things not seen. We have faith that the Lord is going to have mercy on us and give us a kingdom, right? Like we seek a kingdom to come. We have no particular seek one to come, right? We hope for these things. We have faith in these things, but no one has ever seen the kingdom. That brothers have had vision, but no one has physically seen the kingdom right now, because we have no kingdom on earth right now, you know. And don't give me that bullshit and start talking about Nigeria, right? Because Nigeria is a failed state. All those African nations are failed states. The nations in West Africa where we dwell at, those are failed states. You know, those nations in Africa are only they're ran by puppet leaders. You know, all across Africa, you have oil companies. You know, they're the ones that run stuff. You know, they keep the jobs away from the native peoples. You know, some of them are actual Hamites, some of them are Israelites. They don't hire them. You know, and when they do hire them, when they do hire soldiers, they're always under a Edomite commandante. All right, when they do hire people to guard the shipping companies, because you know Jake knows how to survive, man. You know, you got it down in parts of Nigeria. They got the pirates. And the pirates will they'll sneak into these oil ships. They'll hijack an oil ship, and they'll straight up start to steal stuff, man. You know, that's the spirit of vengeance the Lord has put upon them, man. You know, got that spirit of war upon them to go out there and turn against them and start robbing them ships. This gets so bad that you have to actually hire security companies to go guard the ships, and you have to have a separate boat trail behind the oil rig to stop Jake from robbing their asses, man. You know, verse 28. But as concerning the things whereof thou askest me, I will tell thee, for the evil is sown, but destruction is not yet come. So the evil is sown in different ways, right? One level, you know, because you could say because the so-called white man is still on the earth, right? That's one way evil is sown, but also evil is sown with sin being on the earth, man. You know, sin ruling this earth, you know. Right? Verse 29. If therefore that which is sown be not turned upside down at the place where evil is sown pass not away, then it cannot come that which is sown is good. All right, so basically the kingdom can't come until Esau is destroyed, and that's the evil that's sown in the world. That's the sin that's sown in the world. It's Esau, man. The son of perdition, like it talks about in what is that? I'm gonna go get that one for you real quick. Because what we're going into now is that there's a timeline of events, man. So the kingdom can't come. So evil is rooted out from the earth, man. These Edomites, these damn devils, are put into subjection. It's not going to come. All right, our kingdom comes when their kingdom ends. All right. You can get that at. So Esau's the end of the world, but Jacob's the beginning of the Napthali. We all know that. This is what I was looking for. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. All right, and that falling away first is 70 AD. And that man of sin, the son of perdition, is Esau, man. He's that man of sin. He's that evil that is revealed, to the earth, because now we know. Like Yahweh Shai revealed the seals of the book, like he talks about in Revelations. Now we know, starting with Abba Bivens, all the way down to High Priest Arya, our elders, our apostles, right? Elder Apostle Tahar, Gabar, Ariamlub, I don't know how to say it, Ariamlub, right? All these things coming down, man, all down to, like Elder Apostle Ka, all the other elders, apostles. I'm pretty sure those CT bishops, I'm pretty sure they've been around for a long, long time. All you different brothers out there in the West, on the West Coast, all the brothers in the East, and all the brothers in the Midwest, all the elders out there, man, on these various camps, man. All of us have been pushing down and pushing this information. It all started with Yahweh Shai sealing and releasing that seals of the book and pushing forth and giving us the spirit to have that true understanding, man. Giving us that spirit of prophecy. Alright? Basically, because we are the prophets, we have inherited the prophecy, the prophets' work of old. We inherited their knowledge, in the work of old, not only have you inherited it, you've actually gotten a fuller version of their knowledge. You know, like the New Testament, you can look this up for yourself. The prophets of old have sought out the grace which is now come down unto you. So the prophets have been questioning the things of grace and the different things that we've been dealing with that now we have. But like Yahushua said, many prophets of old have wanted to hear the things that you wanted to hear. You know, that wanted to hear the things that you are not hearing. You know, because now we have the full 100% knowledge of the scriptures. You know, we know. Right? Verse 4. Repose and exalt himself above all that is called God or that is worshipped, so that he as God is in the temple of God, showing that he is God. All right, and that's what Esau does, man. He points himself above all the nations, man. He puts himself above God. They think that they are God, because remember, these Edomites, high-level Edomites, they're heavy into Satanism. And if you ever look into Anton LaVey, those guys, they believe that they are the God. You know, that's why they push the whole thing of birthdays, because birthdays is a form of self-worship. You worship yourself on your birthday. And that's why they push out that birthday vibration so heavy, you know? Because they want the people to believe themselves to be gods. You know, and they cause everyone else to share in that wickedness, right? Like the wine of Babylon. The wine of Babylon is the influence of evil, which the so-called white man has spread across the entire earth. Alright? That's the point on that. We can go back to 2nd Ezra, the 4th chapter. Second Ezra chapter 4, and I'll get into verse 30. For the grain of evil seed hath been sown in the heart of Adam from the beginning, and how much ungodliness hath been brought up into this time, and how much shall it yet bring forth until the time of threshing comes. So as I said before, you know, we were supposed to be perfect, right? But that evil grain of seed, that evil was, what did it say again, right? For the grain of evil seed have been sown in the heart of Adam, right? Sin being sown in the heart of Adam from the beginning, right? Like it says in Romans 8th chapter, the creature being subject unto vanity, starting with Adam, right? That led into the unraveling of us as a people, man. You know, all the way up until now, where our people are completely unraveled. You know, to the point now, we're here in America, 2/3 of our people are not going to make it. All right, that's how bad it got. You know, that's how bad it is. You know, the majority of us in this truth, we don't have parents that believe the scriptures. You know, for me and my family, I'm the only person that believes. All right, I'm the only person that believes. I have a sister, right? But my sister is demon. You know, she may, you know, I tried getting her on some of this stuff because she came to me asking about it because I was being a knucklehead and you know, started to speak about the truth and stuff. And tried to bring it to them, tried to edify them, but that was my bad because, but see, the thing is that the thing that was bad that started out with me, and where I fucked up was that, unfortunately, when I first learned the truth, I didn't learn the truth first from GMS. I was following guys like Adam Abad, you know? And guys like Adam Abad, you know, I watched certain of their videos, but I didn't grow up and start off under the vibration of GMS until later on, until I started finding out their videos, and then that's when I started to really learn and grow, you know? And then when I started watching GMS, then that's when I learned, oh, okay, I gotta cast out your pearl before swine. I gotta start hiding this truth, you know? I gotta start keeping it, you know, just to myself, you know, only speak on it when I do my sit downs and when I can't. You know, because you can't tell your family, man. Your family's just gonna take a hot, steaming shit all over you, man. All right, you try to tell them, they're just gonna shit all over you. Oh, you know, they're just gonna shit on your words, man. They say, you know, oh man, fuck that, or they're gonna say, or some family members. I mean, some people I've heard they want to like fight you almost. It's like, well, what the fuck, you know? Or they get defensive, you know? So don't tell the truth to your family members. is the end of it, right? And how much godliness have it brought up into this time? So starting with Adam, right, and the Adamites, right, which, then that led to an unraveling of everyone, because remember, Adamites, the sons of God, they were supposed to rule the whole earth, man. They were supposed to keep the garden and rule the whole earth, man. When we started getting out of order, what are the other nations gonna do? Alright? What are the other nations gonna do? They're gonna go out of order too. Alright? Everyone's just gonna be out of order. So how much evil from that time, from that event, which happened roughly like, 10-15,000 years ago, how much evil to this time? And what's the answer to that? A fuck ton amount of evil, man. Just look at this place. This place is wicked, man. People wearing dresses, men wearing dresses, women wearing pants. Alright, women wearing pants so tight you can see their fucking vagina through their fucking pants. Go to a gym, go to any fucking gym across New York, you'll see wickedness upon wickedness. Even the fact that we have gyms is wicked in itself. Not that there's anything wrong with working out, but the fact that we have this place with just a bunch of sweaty, fucking naked men in one spot, man, it's weird, man. There's nothing wrong with training, but it shouldn't be like this, man. Having all these different dudes, sweating all up, like, the thing is, and they do that stuff on purpose. We really should all have our own kind of stuff, our own kind of spaces, but it is what it is, But no, there's nothing wrong with training in and of itself, but it's just the wickedness and the wicked vibration that, go into the gym highs, man. You do all these people, you got, moles, you got heathens, you got alphabets. It's fucking wicked, man. And as I said before, we trained back then, all right? We had to have known some training because there was wars and soldiers. We had soldiers, we had guards. We had our own, basically our own police, our own guards in the city, right? So we had to have training. We had to be picking up stones or done some squats or some push-ups or something to be able to fight, But it's just a wicked vibration of these gyms, but not to be over righteous. If you want to go do that, go ahead, but just know that those places are wicked. You can feel the wicked vibration off these places, right? So how much God's in the box this time? How much will yet bring forth until the time of death and come? Alright, so this is threshing floor, right? And this is from momshope.org. Lessons from the threshing floor. The threshing floor in scripture is a place of separation, right? Hold on. Yeah, the threshing floor in scripture is a place of separation and revelation. A place where the harvest was prepared by separating the grain from the useless straw for the purpose of exposing and collecting the most valuable part of the crop, right? So you collect the like the wheat from the barley, all right? Things like that, like the scripture says, right? Once harvest is gathered, the patch of threshing begins with intentional destruction. This technique involves crushing the crop under the weight of a sledge or grinding wheel next to the heavy hooves of oxen. Next, the mixture was tossed into the air, allowing the wind to separate the straw from the seed. This process carried the lighter part, the straw, away and allowed the seed to fall and collect on the ground. All right, and the seed represents us, man. All right, the scriptures talk about the wheat. I can't really remember exactly which one it says, but this is like the barley should be collected up and burned. You can find that across Matthew. That's what it represents, man. You could really think about that time of crushing, right? That's a time where affliction, comes upon us, because affliction is supposed to, separate the believers from the non-believers, The people who are really going to come out here and teach from those who are not. The scriptures go into all those things, man. The time that the outward temptation is going to be revealed, the final moment, the final time that's going to really, separate the ones that really believe in the Most High from the people who don't, Because, the hour of temptation, it's not going to be an actual physical hour. It's going to be longer than an hour. But that right there is when they push out the ad on TV, then you're gonna know it's really serving the Lord. You know? So the threshing process is a beautiful picture of worship and a metaphor for sanctification. The threshing floor as a place of worship is where God's vision for us on earth. Our responsibility is to cooperate with the process and return honor Him with the bounty of what is revealed. This progression of refinement is like is much like our lives on a personal level. We too plant seeds and tend to our crops in hopes of a bountiful harvest. We do this in all our relationships, careers, and personal aspirations and faith. However, our best efforts is often choked out by the weeds of pride, tares of selfishness, or the chaff of less hope. All right, so the chaff, all right, the chaff, the tear shall be clipped up and burned. I'm thinking of that one. All right, but the wicked, we also know tares really means like Edomites that have bred with our people and basically have their seed mingled amongst our seed, you know. But yeah, that's what comes until time of threshing comes. And time of threshing comes, the ultimate time of threshing, where the wheat will be separated from all else, from the what do they call it, the straw. The straw separated from the grain. That will really come when the missiles come down. That will be the ultimate separation, where the righteous will be extracted and the wicked will stay on earth to be burned and destroyed. Alright? So, Lord willing, the brothers were edified. I'm going to look at getting a new camp spot again. But this spot is pretty good for now. It's doable. This spot right here, I think, is closed, so no one should really have any reason to kick me out for now. So, as always, we say, "Kanya up the gun." Double honors to the elders and apostles of great millstone GMS who do rule and teach well. Shalom.